What's good, y'all? Welcome to Ahmed's Voice. Ahmed on Arts, Media, and America. Uh, Today I'm going to be talking about an excerpt from a book that I've been reading from years. Some of you know me personally, or you follow me online. You've seen me or heard me repeat the mantra. If you know the way broadly, you see it in all things. That comes from Miyamoto Musashi, one of the greatest warriors to ever live. And today I'm talking about an excerpt from his book, The Complete Five Rings. Um, Life gets challenging as we're trying to make it and as we're trying to go forward. And sometimes we have this idea that we're just supposed to beat down walls. We're just supposed to just knock down every wall and go through it. That's just not reality. You're going to come up against something that you can't defeat head on. You're going to come up against something that you've been thinking about the wrong way or indecisively, or you haven't figured out. And sometimes you have to step back and take a broader view of that thing and go at it again. Sometimes you have to take a step back to go forward. And people say, oh, that's trash. But no, sometimes you do have to take a step back to go forward. And this happens in your personal life. This happens in work. It happens all around. It happens with dealing with yourself. And so that's why I just want to take a minute and talk about today. And I found the perfect passage in the complete book of the Five Rings that exemplifies this point. Um, I have found myself recently at a place where I've had to do that in numerous ways. Um, Step back and see how I'm handling situations, how I'm handling life. And how do I want to step forward with that? How do I want to go forward? Am I been approaching this the wrong way? Am I letting pride get in the way? Am I not having enough pride? What kind of action have I been taking? Um, I've had to do this in my personal life with working out. Many of you may not know that 2 or 3 years ago, I really could barely walk. I tried to hide it very well. I was told by the doctors I didn't have any cartilage left in my knee. I was going to have surgery, knee replacement, take pills, get the shots. I'm not really a medicine guy. Had to stop playing basketball. And it's been 2 or 3 years of me being in the gym and just trying to figure out how my body works, how I had to make it strong again. I can walk better and more flexible than I was than I was or could 10 years ago. But I had to step back. I've had that in this journey the last 3 years. Step back, this type of workout, more weights, more cardio, this, strengthening, stretching, squatting. Like it's been this tug of war with how my body has felt and feeling out my body and having to go back and forth in these different ways of doing things. And this is how it's been all around. Um, my father dying a few months back has made me have to step back and re-engage in life and rethink what was going on. And I want to get to this that's illustrated in this book. Again, this is the complete book of the Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. This edition is edited by Tokiso. And so let's just get into it. All right. This is writing on the five elements around page 75. It's a section called Renewing Yourself. Here is what I call renewing yourself. If at the time of combat you feel yourself entangled with your opponent and the fighting is stagnating, you throw off your preceding sensations and renew your thoughts as though you were doing everything for the first time. In this way, you employ a new cadence to achieve victory. As soon as you feel a grating indecisiveness in your contact with your opponent, immediately renew your mind so you can make use of a completely different opening in order to win. In group strategy as well, it is important to know how to renew yourself. This is something you will find immediately through the wisdom of strategy. You should examine it well. Renewing yourself. And he's talking about in battle. And you found yourself in a place where you're with your opponent and nothing's happening. It's stagnant. You're at a standstill. And here's the thing. If you're standing still, you're moving backwards because life is about moving forward. Trees don't stop. Like trees grow to the highest they can grow. Plants grow to the extent to which they can grow. The fish grow bigger if you put them in a bigger body of water. So if you find yourself stagnant, you're done. You're recalcitrant. If you just find yourself sitting still, you're not moving forward. That's not the way inertia works. Like you're stuck. So what he's saying is in renewing yourself, you have to step back. Whatever you're doing, if you find yourself stagnant, however you've been going to move forward, you need to find another way. It could be a big change. It could be a small change. It could be something very tiny. It could be getting up 15 minutes earlier in the day. It could be driving a new way to work. It can be reorienting your desk, your cameras, your your books. It could be switching up the order in which you do work during the day, if you can. It could be how you greet people during the day, the cashier at the grocery store, the clerk at the coffee shop, anybody. It could be small things. It could be big things. Maybe you need to lose 100 pounds, but you're only going to start off by walking half a block today, then 2 blocks tomorrow, and then 4 blocks the next week. So there are these little things, and there's no shame in having to step back and recalculate what you're doing. People will make it seem like that, but there's no shame. If you are stagnant, you are not moving forward. If you get to a plateau, that's great, but you're supposed to be moving up. You either have to get on that plateau, you either have to move up or go back down to the bottom of the mountain. And I think this is just important in everything we do, again, life, our work, how we raise our children. Like, it's just very important for us to really be looking at, are we moving forward or are we stagnant? And I think this is an important lesson. If you're watching this, the homepage for all of this is at Substack. I'm on Arts, Media, and America. I'll leave the quote in the podcast page at Substack, but also you can follow me anywhere. Again, you can find me Ahmed's Voice on Substack, Ahmed's Voice on Instagram, Ahmed's Voice on YouTube. It all comes together at ahmedsvoice.com. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes to chill out with me. I appreciate you. I'll be back next time.